I'm here with the GOAT, Mike Bechtold, a former number 23.
Well, again, I'm Mike Bechtold. I graduated from Lebanon High School in 1998. I was born and raised in Lebanon, did all of my education through the Lebanon School District system from elementary school to middle school to high school. I did a bunch of extracurricular activities, so obviously sports was the majority of my background. I played all sports at the beginning of my school career. I played, when I say all sports, I played basketball, I played baseball, and I played football. In addition to that, I was also part of the student council group from the middle school all the way through my senior year, National Honor Society, Key Club, German Club, a number of extracurricular clubs that kind of was on the educational side of things. I remember specifically the student section of the gymnasium that was always, when I played, right behind the one basket, and then our games tended to be full and crowded. And some of my greatest memories was just the student section behind the far end of the basket there, and the crowds that we got, and then how intimidating they were to other teams that came into the building. Some of my best memories about playing basketball actually were not specifically basketball, but those memories about your fellow students, your friends in the stands, and just talking a little trash and having a little bit of fun. Again, for as competitive as we were athletically, we also were cordial with one another in the classroom. I think we just all pushed one another, but in a healthy, competitive type of way. And as a result, I think there's a lot of us that have been successful in our class.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that. Now, maybe not this year. This year we definitely missed that.
Probably winning the league championships and some of the bigger games that we had, playing at Hershey Park Arena multiple times and being successful doing so. So some of those, just the bus rides up and the bus rides back after winning and being successful. And frankly, most of my best memories are like just locker room memories, just being with the boys, just kind of going through the grind together, working through practices in the middle of January when it's cold and it's dark and everything else. There's that level of camaraderie. My senior year, we played in a tournament in Delaware, which is called Slam Dunk to the Beach. It was a one game tournament, if you will, or a showcase. We were just little old Lebanon, but we won that game. We fought through it and actually came back to win the game. And just the memory of us competing and challenging, but also being successful against some nationally ranked teams, like that was a great memory that we belong here, we exist here, and again, that pride factor that we were able to pull that off was a pretty cool experience.
Describe your life after you left Lebanon High School.
So I was fortunate when I graduated to be recruited to play basketball, and I was recruited by several schools, but ultimately selected an opportunity to go to Princeton University, which is in central New Jersey. I actually went to Princeton early because of basketball. I graduated June 1st or whatever it was, and by July 1st I was already on Princeton's campus at a summer program, getting some extra credits working on basketball. And actually after I graduated in 2002, stayed on campus for a little while longer trying to hang on to the basketball dream, and then eventually came back to Lebanon sometime late 2002, 2003.
Like, did you know coming out of high school what you want to be when you were older?
No, not at all. In fact, I went to college, obviously wanted to get a great education and everything there, but I had no direct aspirations of doing what I do now. So most of my aspirations surrounded sports, and not just playing, but being involved in the sports sector, if you will. After I went to Princeton and graduated from there, I hung on to the basketball dream for like another year or so. Realized that wasn't going to materialize, so I decided to go to law school. The reason I went to law school is because of a mentor of mine, Bernie Buskin, who is the founding partner of the firm that I'm working for now. He encouraged me to go to law school and give it a chance, and I took that opportunity and pushed myself again. I graduated from law school and was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to work at Buskin Davis Law Offices, which is right down the road, and I've been there. This is actually my 15th year there, being at that firm. The competition, just going at somebody and then being able to compete with one another. So a lot of what I do is litigation work, courtroom type of work. So there's that competitive factor of trying to win, trying to be successful, but also advocating for your client. So it's the competition, but also being able to get a reward for the person that's hiring you to do what you need to do.
What makes you proud to be a Lebanon Cedar?
The camaraderie, like the relationships, the friendships that we had. I mean, my class in particular, the class of '98, we had a ton of successful individuals, and it wasn't just on the sports side. It was academically, it was professionally. A lot of people that got along with one another.
And I don't think a lot of people from the outside know like how hard Lebanon kids actually do work, because I feel like we tend to get a negative reputation.
I think it's unfair. I think just like you said, I grew up here, and we're all hard workers. We're all, put your nose to the grindstone type of guys, never back down type of mentality. The pride that we all have as Lebanon school students is something that is untouchable, in the sense of like it's this pride, it's this unity, it's this togetherness. that I don't think can be matched.
You really build like camaraderie, even if you don't do a sport. I feel
Right.
like we all just stick together. What was the best advice have you gotten from a teacher?
Somewhere early in my career, I believe one of the teachers, I'm not sure who told me this, but is to always continue to push yourself, even if you're uncomfortable doing something, even if it's something that you're not familiar with, whether it's an interview like this, whether it's taking a different class, whether it's trying a new sport, but trying to just make yourself become comfortable with something that's uncomfortable. By pushing myself and now looking back as an adult, those are the types of experiences that have really benefited me, because they've exposed me to situations and opportunities that I would have never done if I didn't take that chance, so to say.
When you just take the easy route, you like all you do is learn how to just cruise through things and not really work at it.
I think you learn a lot more from struggling at something than something that just comes inherently natural to you. You always learn more from your failures than you do your successes. That's a fact. I still to this day in the basketball setting, again, I learned more from the losses that I've taken, the things that I've made errors on, than I did the great wins that we've had. So that's definitely true, again, in sports and in just job and professionalism. It's a good question. I do have one regret, and it's not continuing to play baseball, not continuing to play football. Like, I have no regrets about being a basketball player, but I think that I kind of boxed myself into a corner going through school, and would have liked to fulfill the opportunity to play baseball, liked to fulfill the opportunity to play football, and just do all those things, because I had so many great memories and so many great experiences. It's hard to say with any certainty, and again, I'm sitting here today 20 years later, so I wish I would have, but had I done it, I might have said something different.
Yeah.
So it's hard to predict the future.
How have you remained an active seater?
I try to give back as much as I possibly can by doing these types of interviews and interacting with students, whether it be doing something for a senior project. I've had a number of students job shadow me. My office is literally a quarter of a mile down the road, so I've had students job shadow. I've spoken at various senior or junior events here, dinners that they've given. I'm the solicitor, which means I'm the lawyer for the school district, so I give back in a professional way of giving the school district advice and interacting with them in that way. Try to attend as many events as possible, try to support the basketball team, football team, baseball team, things like that. So I try to give back in any way possible. Again, I live locally and like I said, proud alumni, so I'm happy to do so.
What makes it so special for you to, come back and just give back to everybody?
There's a certain level of pride knowing that you came from where you came from and were able to be successful, and you kind of went through the fire and went through the gauntlet to do so. You have a little chip on your shoulder and saying, I did it the right way and maybe the hard way, as opposed to something just handed to you. So I think it's just that significant level of pride that I don't think you get somewhere else.
Yeah, I feel like with Lebanon High kids, it's like you got to start from the ground and then work your way up. You don't get that leeway that other schools get, so you really got to like push yourself. How have things changed since you went to Lebanon High?
I don't get as much of a sense of community as far as interactiveness. Again, when I graduated, there was people of all territories, whether it's male, female, freshman, senior. I think we all interacted well with one another, and we hung out together, and we attended events together and things like that. Again, I'm not there every single day, but I just don't see that from the outside that I'm at right now. I think it's a little bit more cliquey. I mean, like, you got your crew, and it's kind of
yeah. Looking back at your yearbook, especially like in the late '90s, early '90s. It really seems like everyone was bonding together, no matter what grade.
An example of that is perfect is when I came in as a freshman. Again, you're coming to high school not knowing what's going on or what's what, but the senior class of basketball players, which happened to be Coach Spiro and his crew, kind of took our group under their wing and kind of accepted us into open gyms and even academically in the hallways and things of that nature. Mr. Coles was, who's no longer a teacher here. Mr. Coles was our homeroom teacher and also a student council advisor. So I had the opportunity to be with Mr. Coles for 4 years consecutively, I should say. He was a mentor and a person that would give you guidance, whether it just be personal, family guidance, whether it be academic guidance, whether it's giving you a pat in the butt if you did something well or a kick in the butt if you did something wrong. So I felt like he was more of a father figure and a mentor coming through the school district here. Having gone from Lebanon School District to Princeton University, which is, world renowned in all regards. I went to school with kids that mostly came from all private schools or prep schools and things of that nature. When I went there, like the fact that I was a public school student, that was like not the norm. So what it taught me was like, you're just as good as the next guy. Like, if you just work as hard and you do what you need to do, like, you're just as good as that prep school kid, or you're just as good as that private school kid. And having gone through 4 years of Princeton, like, there's a lot of truth to that they're no better than you are. They put their shoes on the same way we do, and so I guess Lebanon taught me just to be confident in that way and to grind through whatever you need to grind through to earn what you deserve.